I didn't open the door that night, even though it sounded exactly like my husband. That's the part I keep replaying, because if I had trusted that sound for even 1 second, I don't think I'd be here to explain it. I know what my husband's knock sounds like. 15 years together, you learned those things. The distracted elbow knock when his hands are full, the 2 quick taps when he forgets his keys, the uneven one when he's tired. It's like recognizing a voice in a crowd. You don't even think about it. You just know. That's why what happened on March 9th doesn't make sense. Because I knew that knock, and I knew it wasn't him at the same time. He was supposed to be home by 9 that night. Long drive from his brother's place. 8 hours. He said he'd text when he got close. 9 passed, then 9:15. I wasn't worried. Phones die. Traffic happens. Nothing unusual. I was on the couch watching something I can't even remember now. Something normal. Something safe. Then at 9:40, the knock came. 2 quick taps. A pause. Then 1 long knock. I sat up immediately. My body reacted before my brain did. That was his knock. Exactly his knock. I even smiled for a second. Started to get up, and then something in me just stopped. Completely. Like a switch flipped. My stomach went cold. Quiet, like the air right before a storm. I stood there in the middle of the room and didn't move. The knock came again. Same pattern. 2 quick. Pause. 1 long. Identical. 2 identical. That's what felt wrong. There was no variation. No slight difference. No human error. It sounded like something repeating a recording perfectly. I said his name, just quietly. Not even toward the door fully. Just a knock. There was no answer. No movement. Just silence. Then the knock came again. But this time, something was off. The pause between the taps and the long knock was just a little too long. Half a second, maybe. It felt like hesitation, like something adjusting. Like it heard me and needed a second to correct itself. That's when I stepped back. Slowly, without turning my back to the door. I grabbed my phone and called him. He answered on the second ring. And he was still on the road, 4 hours away. Apologizing. Explaining delays. I didn't tell him anything at first. I just listened. And then I heard it again. The knock. Right behind me. Through the door. I told him to stay on the line. I didn't explain. I just said it in a way that made him stop talking. I went to the front window. The one with the heavy curtains. I moved the fabric just enough to see, and there was someone standing on the porch. Average height. Dark jacket. Facing the door. Completely still. Not shifting. Not moving. Not doing anything people normally do when they're waiting. No phone. No pacing. Nothing. Just standing. My pulse was too loud. The figure moved then, hoosed their head slowly. Not toward me. Not toward the street, who slightly, like it was listening. I let the curtain fall back immediately. My hand was shaking. I told my husband to call the police. Told him to stay on the line. The next 11 minutes felt longer than anything I've ever experienced. The knocking kept happening over and over. Same pattern. It happened 6 more times. Never rushed, never angry. Just patient. Like it knew I was there. Police arrived. Lights flooded the front of the house. By the time they checked the porch, nothing was there. The officer said they found footprints in the mud near the flower bed. Said they were recent, but something about them was wrong. Pressed too evenly. Too centered, like weight wasn't shifting naturally. He said it casually, like it didn't matter, but it did. I didn't tell them about the message. I didn't tell anyone at first, not even my husband. There was a text, unknown number, no name. Sent at 9:41 p.m., 1 minute after the first knock. I opened it slowly, and it said, "You knew it wasn't him. Why didn't you open the door?" I remember reading it twice, then locking my phone without responding. I felt something shifted me again, deeper this time, because that message meant something had been paying attention. Not just to the house, but to me. To what I knew, to what he felt. My husband came home the next morning, changed every lock, installed cameras, motion sensors, everything you're supposed to do. We even got a dog a month later, big one. Protective, alert. For a while, nothing happened. Almost a year passed, and I let myself believe it was over. That whatever it was had moved on, or failed, or lost interest. But sometimes late at night, the dog lifts his head. Slowly, not barking, not growling, just staring at the front door. And every time that happens, I feel it again. That same cold stillness in my stomach. Because I remember that message. I remember the way the knock changed. Hoosed slightly after I spoke, like I was learning, and the thought that won't leave me is this. It didn't stop because it gave up. It stopped because it didn't need to try anymore. It already knows the difference now, and the next time it comes back, it won't almost sound like him. It will sound exactly right. My daughter was 7 years old when she started telling me about the man who knocked on her window at night. I want you to sit with that sentence for a second. Her window was on the second floor. There was no tree beside it, no roof below it, nothing a person could stand on. And yet she told me, calmly, like it was normal, that the man knocked 3 times every night. She said she'll never let him in, because Mommy said not to open windows for strangers. She said it like she deserved praise, like she'd been very responsible. I have never felt fear like that before. The first time she told me, I checked everything. Window latch, locked. Closet, empty. Under the bed, nothing. I even went outside, walked the yard, looked up at the wall, just brick. Flat. Unreachable. I told her she was dreaming. She looked at me like I didn't understand something obvious. She said the knocking always woke her up first. Then she waited for it. And it always came. 3 knocks. Every time. Then she said something I still hate repeating. She said sometimes she saw his fingers first, not a hand. Just fingers, pressed flat against the glass in the dark before the knocking started. I called my husband. Asked her to repeat everything. She told it exactly the same way. Same words. Same order. Children don't do that when they're making things up. We set up an old baby monitor that night. Video and audio we watched from our bedroom. She fell asleep quickly. That bothered me more than anything. She wasn't scared. Not even a little. For 3 hours, nothing happened. The house stayed quiet. Too quiet. Then at 2:48 a.m., she sat straight up. No movement before, no turning. Just upright. Eyes open. Wide awake, she turned her head toward the window. And then we heard it. 3 knocks. Clear, slow, deliberate. My husband stood up immediately. We didn't even speak. We just ran. When we got there, she was sitting up, calm, watching the window. We checked the latch. Still, look. There, we looked outside. Nothing but darkness and a long drop. Then I saw the glass on teensy. 4 small smudge marks, evenly spaced, like fingertips, pressed from inside the room. No one had touched that window. Not me. Not her. Not my husband. I picked her up. We left that night. Didn't pack anything. Just drove. Stayed at a hotel. The next morning, I went straight upstairs. I didn't want anyone touching that window. I needed to see it again. The glass was clean. Not wiped. Not streaked. Just clean. Like nothing had ever been there. My daughter walked in behind me, looked at the window, and said quietly, "He always cleans up before morning." Then she went to play, like it meant nothing. After that, things got worse. Not louder, but more frequent. Some nights there was no knocking. But she still woke up 2:48 a.m. Every time, she would just lie there, staring at the window. I started sitting outside her room, listening. Sometimes I thought I heard something. Soft tapping. Not enough to prove, just enough to keep me awake. We checked the monitor recordings. Again and again. Zoomed in on the window. Frame by frame, nothing visible. No figure, no shadow. Just her and the sound. But the audio, something about it felt wrong. Not like Knuckles. Too soft, too damp. We moved 6 months later. New town. New house. Single story. No high windows. Nothing unreachable. For 8 months, nothing happened. She slept normally again. Stopped waking at night. We started to believe it was over. That whatever it was stayed there. Attached to the house. Or the land. Then she changed. Slowly. She started sleeping, facing the windows again. Didn't say why. Just did. Sometimes I'd catch her looking at the glass. Not scared. Just aware. One night I asked her, "Do you still think about him?" She shrugged and said, "He doesn't come here." I almost felt relief. Until the morning, everything came back. She sat at the table, pouring cereal, like any normal day. Then she looked at me, calm, slat, and said, "He found us." I felt my stomach drop. She pointed toward the kitchen window. Low now, reachable. I looked, saw nothing at first. Then I leaned closer, and there, in the corner, barely visible, for small smudge marks. Auntie say that I didn't sleep that night, or the next. A few days later, I heard something. Not knocking. Not exactly. I was in bed. House quiet, clock glowing to 48. And then, a soft, dragging sound. Across glass. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. In the morning, the window was clean. Of course. I asked my daughter if she heard anything. She shook her head. Then, after a second, she said, "He doesn't need to knock anymore." I asked her why. She looked at me, smiled a little, and said, "Because now he can reach." I used to work security at a high-risk psychiatric facility. I've seen things that would make most people quit on the first day. I'm not easily rattled. Stoicism wasn't just a personality trait for me. It was a survival mechanism. Nothing could get under my skin. After I left that job, I moved into an old brick apartment building. It was quiet, or so I thought. The third floor felt isolated. It was a Tuesday, just past midnight. I was sitting in my living room, deeply immersed in a book, enjoying the heavy silence of the night. 3 sharp, rhythmic knocks echoed through the apartment. They were heavy, deliberate. Someone was at my front door. I checked the peephole. The hallway was bathed in the sickly yellow glow of buzzing fluorescent lights, but it was completely empty. I waited. No footsteps. No breathing. Just the hum of the building. I figured it was a prank and went back to my chair. Then it started again. The same rhythm. Knock. 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 This time, it wasn't the door. It was coming from the bedroom window. I'm on the 3rd floor. There are no ledges, no fire escapes, nothing but a sheer drop to the parking lot far below. I pulled the curtains back. Nothing. Just the cold night air and the empty asphalt, 3 stories down. My pulse quickened for the first time. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message from a hidden number. 3 words that chilled me more than the cold glass. Let me in. The knocking became a frenzy. It moved from the window to the wall, then the ceiling. It was as if something was circling the room. I grabbed my phone to call 911. Nothing. Just a wall of thick, heavy static. I tried my neighbor, but the line was dead. Then, the sound stopped. The silence that followed was worse. I heard the front door handle begin to turn, slowly and purposefully. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. I retreated to the bedroom corner, my back against the wall, watching the door. Minutes felt like hours. I watched the digital clock on the bedside table, 2:48 a.m. The knocking just ceased. The air felt lighter. When the sun finally rose, I inspected the door and windows. No marks, no scratches. It was as if nothing had ever happened. I saw my neighbor, Roll_02, in the hall. She was packing boxers, her face pale and her eyes sunken. She looked like a ghost. "You heard it too, didn't you?" she whispered. It wasn't outside. The knocking, it was coming from inside the walls. She left that afternoon. Now the building is even quieter, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched from the drywall. A final text arrived this morning. No sender. It just said, "Next time, I won't ask. I don't sit near the walls anymore." I've never told anyone the full version of this. Not my wife, not my therapist, not even my brother who was staying with me when it happened. Because every time I try to explain it, I watch people's faces shift from concern to that polite, uncomfortable look that means they've already decided I imagined it. But I didn't imagine it. I know what I heard. I know what I saw. And I know that whatever stood outside my door that February night, it tenio my name. It was a Wednesday. I remember because I had just gotten off a brutal double shift at the warehouse, and my feet were still aching. I collapsed onto the couch around 11:30. My brother Donnie was asleep in the guest room. My wife was visiting her mother out of state. So it was just the two of us in that old rental house on Creekside Drive. A house that already had a reputation for making people feel uneasy. The neighborhood was quiet. Dead quiet. The kind of quiet that feels less like peace and more like everything holding its breath. I remember lying there with the TV on low, some home renovation show flickering in the dark, thinking I'd never felt more exhausted. I was asleep within minutes. And then 3 knocks. Slow, deliberate, spaced exactly apart. Like whoever was doing it was counting between each one. Boom. Pause. Boom. Pause. Boom. I sat up instantly. My heart was already pounding before I was even fully awake. I checked my phone. Las 3:04 AM. I stared at the front door from the couch, not moving. The porch light was off. The little rectangular window above the doorknob showed nothing but black. I told myself it was a drunk neighbor. I told myself it was someone who had the wrong house. I almost convinced myself, and then it happened again. 3 knocks. Same rhythm, some deliberate, unhurried spacing. Like a metronome, like a ritual. I got up slowly, grabbed the fireplace poker from the stand near the wall, and crept toward the door. Every floorboard seemed to scream under my weight. I reached the peephole and pressed my eye against it, and nothing. The porch was empty, just a dead lawn, the dark street, the neighbor's fence. My breath was fogging. I hadn't realized I was breathing that hard. I stepped back, told myself it was a prank, and I almost walked back. Then I heard it. Scratching. Not at the door. At the window right beside the door. Slow. Fingernail scratching against the glass. Moving in a long, dragging arc from the bottom of the frame all the way up to the top. Something was running its fingers up my window. I couldn't move. I genuinely could not move. My legs turned to concrete and my throat closed, and I just stood there, frozen. And then, very quietly, right against the door, I heard my name. Plainly. My full name, first and last, in a voice that sounded almost normal. Except there was something wrong with the spacing of the syllables, like someone who had learned to say a name phonetically, without understanding where to put the weight. I ran to Danny's room. I shook him awake. I told him something was outside. He grabbed his phone and we both stood in the hallway listening. For 5 long minutes, there was nothing. No sound, no scratching, nothing. He went and checked the windows, checked the porch, and he found nothing. Except for one thing. On the window beside the front door, there were 3 vertical lines scratched into the surface. Danny said it was probably some kid messing around. Probably happened days ago and we just never noticed. He said it calmly, and he went back to bed. But I stood there in the dark hallway staring at those scratches for a long time. Bekasi Kaneyu, I absolutely knew they hadn't been there that afternoon. The thing that keeps me awake is that I never figured out how tall something would have to be to drag its fingers from the very bottom of that window all the way to the top. Whatever stood outside my house and said my name in the dark at 3 in the morning. It was not small, and it had been watching long enough to learn who I was.